Hi there, traders, and welcome to Trade the Structure and the Morning Jumpstart Macro View, or the US Market Recap. Okay, so we're just going to go over what happened to start with in the Asian market session, so on the ASX yesterday. And you can see that the market has been well and truly getting hammered all the way through support. Lot thought that would have held up here around that 72 mark. We actually had the short on, and the short was just through 73.25. It was on the CFD, so it might be slightly different pricing, but it was closed off for a partial exit around 7200, 7205, I think it was. So in hindsight, that looks a little bit premature, but the second half of the final exit was just into this level here. I think it was just below 68 something, 68.84, something like that. But yeah, it turned out really nicely, and it looks like there is potential for this to continue down into this zone here, 66.60, and really extend on that move down. Overall, that the trend has really been blown apart for the upside. I think there was some consolidation up here. You've got a major double top, and then that's a shoulder, so that's our prime sort of an entry when we're looking for market structure, shorts or longs. Even if you've got a double bottom, you get a shoulder to work off on the upside, then great. And this was just the opposite on the downside. So turned out well. You've got this market is really flush through there. Expect it to open up a bit stronger today because the SPY did rally, but it could be a bit like what happened yesterday. It opened up stronger, and then it was pretty much up in the open and then thumped down again through that 69.14 or 6900 level. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, maybe just retesting. If it retests and starts to hold back at 69, then I would be a bit concerned we're going to get a sell-off into the weekend because there you can see, we'll talk about in a second, the US is really starting to roll over a bit, especially tech. They're getting dragged down. The overall market's getting dragged down by tech at the moment. So we'll go over to the US now. Big S&P, not looking too flash at the moment. You can see we start to scroll out a bit when it loads finally. You've got this uptrend here, and then you've got this sort of consolidation sideways. We've got high lows holding. Okay, another buy the dip, popped up through the highs, and then straight back down, retested it, and we really got hammered after that. So the fact that we've retested it in through this zone and held is not looking so good. And I'll be looking at two things from here. If I can just draw that there, where are we? Here we go. Draw that in there. That support there, I think you're either going to work off it for a long and start to squeeze out these shorts, or we're going to start to keep pressuring into it. We're going to do something like this, gradually push down and then really flush it, and maybe continue on down that way. Or like I said, we just start to pop up and squeeze out some of these shorts through here back into this zone, maybe. Okay, but we are down on a level now. It has been flushed and it's reclaimed back above there. It's just whether or not we keep pressuring down or we start to work our way off. It could be a buying opportunity. So keep your eye on that. The Dow, Dow's much the same, I think. We flushed a big level through here, and it's starting to, it's mainly through this level into here. Have worked our way up off it, coming to this zone through here, which is probably about, what's that, 34,740. We've just reacted lower off that, so this could be a lower high and could just drive down. Something like this, drive down, give us a shorting opportunity, or we could just sort of flush into it and start to hold a higher low. Okay, so either way, I'm looking for a lower high or higher low. Okay, I don't want to just buy off that zone there and then find it just drive straight through, get stopped out. But I also don't want to just sell on any pop, because you could get this higher low work out and just flush you straight back out again. So yeah, it's all about risk management, and we'll see how that plays out. Look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's looking a little bit more tentative than most, and you can see we've got an area through here which, look, it could have extended into that zone. You can see it's traded a few times before, reacted down off there, went through, chopped around in there, reacted up and off. Now we just flushed down into that area. This is the half an hour chart. We're all looking at the half an hour charts, by the way, and it's sort of caught between this say 14,600 and somewhere around 14,000 just in here. So whether or not, we're just going to wait and see whether this is going to be more follow through and we get a shorting opportunity, or we're going to start to chop around here and just chop these two levels, really, flush them, look to flush some sellers out. Okay, but only time will tell. Look at the DAX and the FTSE were up last night, which I think was a bit premature, which they may have thought we were going to see a big bounce in the US, and we didn't get it. It was from the previous session, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start to, struggle a bit on these highs and start to give back some of these gains. But wait and see. That's still, that DAX is still caught between this longer term range sort of band action, okay, with major support down at 15,000. just through here. Okay, now it's the fact it's reacted up and off, good, but this could be a lower high if we get something like this and it just powers straight through, or we go straight back into the level just to retest it. The FTSE, just get that up there. I've lost most of my must have deleted them sometime. Anyway, it's a rising channel. It reacted up off here. You can see this was a little support zone, reacted up off that level, back into these highs. It's just whether or not these highs are going to hold, or we're going to see some more downside action, or they're just going to break, pop up, retest it, and run up again. But the way the US is looking, I'll be struggling to think that the FTSE will just continue to power higher. But they haven't seen, if you go back to the daily, they haven't seen the same sort of retracement. The US has powered off into new highs. The DAX has, our market, the ASX has as well. But on the FTSE, they just barely got back up to the all-time highs. Okay, and they're sort of flushing around here. So there's a bit of resistance ahead of them, but we'll have to see if that maybe just flushes through that level and straight back down again. Back to the 30-minute charts. Okay, dollar index. Now that's really been driven higher. They had some news out last night. GDP data come out last night in the US, advanced GDP, which is sort of the most, soonest one, when you say the most recent GDP figure. And then they get into, let me just see, it gets into preliminary, then final. But advanced one's the earliest indication of what GDP is doing. And by the looks of it, it's doing quite well. So you had data last was 2.3%, up 2.3, expecting up 5.3, and it come out up 6.9%. So a lot stronger than expected, which put upside pressure on the US dollar, which is good. But it really starts to weigh on that, the Fed and interest rate rises. So bonds, you can see they were chopping around. Yields was, shorter term yields were lower. Went higher, and bonds went lower. But you can see the 10 years here, they were sort of grinding off those lows. Okay, and the same with the 30s. So if we look back at the 2 years, they're holding those lows, so the yields are holding. So shorter term, expecting those rate rises. So I wouldn't expect that the short terms to move too much, but we'll see. Back to the dollar. Yeah, that dollar index really powering up. Okay, so we've just got through these highs. So really, it's whether we extend on that move up and maybe pull back and retest it. But we're going to hold above this level at 96, say 97, or whether that's just a flush and come back in the zone and get a lower high. I think the way the US is, it's been a favored currency, like I was saying yesterday, where you got the crosses for yield play. When the US is looking to raise rates, they're getting better and better yield for US dollar in return for selling euro, selling Aussie, selling yen, selling pound. Okay, because they're the ones that are coming off really quick and starting to raise rates first. Australia, the RBA won't raise yet. I'm not intending on raising just yet. The euro not. So there's going to be some weakness just in that currency cross. Okay, we'll see how that plays out though. Look at the euro, straight down, would have been a good move through this level. Off the shoulder, we were talking about this yesterday. Shoulder, so lower highs are holding. Sellers well and truly in control. I was saying yesterday, if it did start to the US dollar started to break to the upside through that 97, we're going to get a sell-off in that, and that's pretty much what played out. So for now, it's where to. Might have to go back a chart or so. Go back to 2 hourly. It's taken out a lot of lows here. So just go to the daily just to see what's happening on the daily. Maybe there's something there we could look at. Yeah, look, not too flash at the moment. I'd say there's maybe a zone through here that might start to find a bid, but it's not a massive zone. Just the way we've broken down through that level. I wouldn't expect too much just yet. I'd expect more, maybe retrace up here and look for, potentially looking for a short off there. But I'd always be concerned about that double sort of a pullback. You get that bit higher and then start to get a shoulder to work off. That's what you want, ideally a shoulder to work off. Okay, so pound, same sort of thing. We got through this zone, which I was mentioning yesterday, through these lows, held the lower high, just pushed through. That's a bit more of a grind on the pound. It's not as excitable as the euro, but it is pressing down as well. So trend is down. It's just going to be looking for levels. Mark up your levels potentially through here. It looks like a decent one through here. See if we can get a bid. Okay. So what I'd be looking for on the pound is more a bit of a pop, and see if we can get Even if it's on the lower time frame charts, remember on the 30, if this starts to happen, you start, it's pull back on the 30, starts holding above the MAs, look to the lower time frame, maybe a 5-minute chart just to get that long and a squeeze on these shorts through here, potentially back up to that 134.40. Okay, so that's, it's only going to be a few pips, but if that carries on a bit, if it starts to jam through there, we might be looking up to this level. Okay, but for now, that would be my play. Aussie dollar power and lower. I don't see a hell of a lot just in here getting into these lows. That's kind of the zone where I might expect would see something. We've also got this area through here. So really, it's already retested and continuing down. So I'd expect this to push down there. So for me, nothing on the Aussie. US yen, now US dollar obviously dragging that higher. There's no real safe haven buying to cap, no safe haven buying into the yen to cap that US dollar rally. And you can see it's been driven largely by just a US dollar rally and the yen just not doing too much at all. So really, not looking at anything on the yen, nothing stands out to me. You're getting this zone through here, potentially you could work off as a short, but I'm not interested in that. This could be a lower high. You get through here, could drive down. We might be looking at something like that. Just wait and see. It looks like the longer term momentum starting to roll. You just sort of want that shorter term momentum to get through that zero, maybe a bit of a pop and roll. Okay, so that's the only play I'll be looking at on US yen at the moment. Gold got knocked down quite a bit of a hammering. You can see that's really disappointing bulls. Those gold bugs, the bulls out there, really disappointing them big time. And it was heading higher. It's just reacting up off that daily level. We spoke about this yesterday, off that daily resistance. And there's also, I haven't got it. Let's go back to the daily. You'll see what I'm talking about. And this, it's kind of upward trend here. Okay, we'll go back to the 30-minute chart. So see if we get a confluence. We might get a bit of a flush down into this level, back down below 1780, 1790, back into here. There's potential for that, but I'd expect this zone somewhere in here to hold. I want to see, either what happens here. We can either get high low press off here, or we push back into this area. Okay, press back into this area, flush out a lot of these buyers. There'd be buyers with stops under here, flush them out, and then just look for a higher low and see if we can work our way back up, like we have here. Okay, see if we can get along on there. Crude oil, not much to talk about there. It's up near daily highs. Go back to the daily chart. Yeah, definitely just deleted all my charts here, which is not no too good. Right back here. So we've got levels in here, around the 112. Potentially got levels through here. Nothing that stands out too much. Levels through here. Okay, we go back to the 30-minute chart. This is really just a daily move. That daily was about here. Okay, so crude, it's just popped up. It may be looking to extend back up to that 90 area, extend on that move. We could get in the shorter term a bit of a flush lower, maybe get something like this, and then back into 84, 85, and then start to hold again. Okay, but nothing stands out to me at the moment. We'll just have to wait and see. Copper. Now, copper got knocked about last night a bit, and that's not looking too crash hot. Okay, we've got double top up here. That's holding. Press down. We've got a zone just in here that's holding at the moment, so that could be something to work off. Or otherwise, we've got something a bit lower, back into that area. You can see it's pushed in there, flushed, held from move up, pull back, held, retested off that level. So if you're going to retest, get that double top where we saw RTF, and then you get this shoulder, I'll be kind of looking for that extension move. Grab that, back into this level. Okay, but I'd want to see sort of a pop up and see if I can get something to work off, maybe like that. That's going to take us down. Okay, that's it. And we've spoken about bonds. So, bonds I don't think to be changing too much, but it is inflationary at the moment with the data that's coming out of the US, and the Fed's going to have to do something, which I think is just putting pressure on the Nasdaq because of the higher cost of finance, higher cost of money. So that's going to pressure overextended markets, which is pretty much the US at the moment. But we'll see how that plays out. So it's really about, the US, whether it's going to hold these levels, these zones through here and start to work up and squeeze some of these shorts, or whether this is a lower high is going to press through. Okay, it's as simple as that. All right, guys, thanks very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. And just remember, if you like what you hear, it'd be great if you could leave a like and help us spread the word. And also feel free to take a look at the website. A lot more information, a lot of free stuff on www.tradethestructure.com.